You wake up to warmth. The scent of fresh grass fills your nose. The soft press of fur all around you. You can hear tiny movements, soft murmurs, the sound of breathing. Everything is new. Everything is strange. Your eyes blink open, hazy at first, adjusting to the dappled light filtering into the den. You're surrounded by others, your siblings, small, restless, eager little balls of fur, just like you. But even now, barely minutes into existence, you can tell some of them already ahead of you. One is already trying to walk, legs wobbling, but determined. Another is pawing at your mother's tail, testing their balance, their reflexes. Meanwhile, you attempt your first movement and immediately roll onto your side, like a Voltorb. Your mother nudges you gently, her warm body reassuring. You look up at her. She's tall, sleek, elegant. Her fur catches the sunlight, a soft lilac glow. Espion. She watches over all of you, eyes calm, tail twitching slightly as she observes your first attempts at movement. You don't know much, but you know she's strong. That's what evolution does. It turns Eevees into something more. You try to stand again, paws unsteady, tail twitching behind you. 1 step, 2, and faceplant again while your siblings are already starting to play fight, tumbling over each other, testing their speed and balance. Your siblings all look the same now, but something tells you that won't last forever. After a few days, you take your first steps out of the den and into the world. And it's a lot. The sun hits your fur, warm and bright. The grass stretches taller than you expected, and the world beyond the den smells different. While you're observing your surroundings, your siblings are already scattered across the clearing, drawn to places like they've done it 100 times before. One of them is crouched low in a patch of bushes, tail flicking as they sniff through leaves and push their face into the green. They rub their body against the trunk of a tree like it's the most comfortable thing in the world. You catch the scent of fresh moss in the air as they vanish into the undergrowth. No hesitation, like they belong there. Another is halfway into a shallow puddle near the edge of the clearing. It's barely ankle deep, but they're mesmerized. They paw at the surface, watching the ripples shift with wide eyes. He's drawn to the water like a magic carp to a splash contest. And then there's one just lying in the grass, belly up, soaking up the sunlight. They barely move, just stretch, squint, and purr like the sun itself is whispering secrets directly into their fur. You watch all three, waiting for something to click. Maybe if you copy one of them, you'll feel it too. You sit in the sun for long minutes, but feel nothing. You try the puddle, just wet paws. You rub your face against the tree trunk and all you get is splinters. You don't get it. Maybe you're doing something wrong, but what you do understand is the rumble that you hear. It's your stomach. You're hungry, and for the first time, you're going to have to look for your own meal. Exciting. You sniff around, ears flicking for signs of movement. The others are already feeding themselves, eating berries, chasing little bug types, nibbling whatever they can catch. You try to mimic them, stalking a scatterbug through the grass. It sees you coming from about 3 miles away and moves every time you get close. You try again. Eventually, by sheer persistence, and maybe pity on the scatterbug's part, you catch one. But this won't fill your stomach entirely. Maybe berries will do the trick. You start sniffing out bushes, figuring it can't be that hard, right? You find a bright red one, pop it in your mouth, and immediately wish you hadn't. It's sour, aggressively sour. Your tongue feels like you've just licked a Pikachu. Your entire face tries to turn inside out. You spit it out and immediately start to look for another type. The next bush looks promising, with smaller purple berries. You nibble it cautiously. It's sweet and soft, perfect. You memorize the smell, the shape, the way the leaves curl around it. You'll know next time. It's been weeks since you came to the world. You're older now, steadier on your paws. Your legs don't wobble the way they used to. You've started to get the hang of things, hunting, foraging, staying alert when the forest shifts around you. The world still feels big, but it doesn't feel impossible anymore. You're not as fast as some of your siblings, not as graceful or confident, and you still don't feel any elemental pull like the others clearly do, but you've learned how to keep yourself alive. At least that's what you thought. You hear a rustle in the grass, the kind you've heard 1,000 times, but this time it's followed by a low growl that makes the fur on your back rise. You and a few others freeze, instinct kicking in before understanding. A mighty hyena bursts through the bush, faster and larger than anything you've seen. Its eyes are locked onto the pack, its movements quiet and deadly until the very last second. In a heartbeat, the clearing erupts into chaos. Your mum jumps in front of you to protect her kids, while you all run. In just a second, the pack is scattered in every direction. You dive between tree trunks, scramble over roots, and crash through brambles until your legs begin to ache. When the sounds finally fade, when your breath is ragged and your heart won't stop hammering against your ribs, everything is silent. You're alone. You wander for hours. At some point, a storm rolls overhead, the air goes dry, the sky hums. Your fur stands on end. Every step you take crackles faintly with static. You wonder, just for a moment, if maybe this is it, that surge, that pull, that spark that means you finally found your form. But the storm passes, the crackle fades, you're still you. Eventually, something familiar reaches you, a faint scent, one that reminds you of moss and damp leaves. You follow it through thicker grass, across a stream, and into the still shade of the forest's edge. That's where you find him. One of your siblings, though at first it's hard to recognize him. His fur has changed, now soft green and streaked with faint, leafy patterns. His tail is sharpened into a thin, blade-like shape, and when he moves, the plants around him barely notice. He's a Leafeon now. He doesn't say anything, just glances at you once, then turns and walks into the trees. You don't hesitate, you follow. You travel together for a while. He never speaks, but he teaches you through action how to move through tall grass without a sound, how to press your body low to the ground when danger is near, how to freeze so still that even a fletchling could pass by without seeing you. You're clumsy compared to him, but you keep trying. Each day, your steps grow quieter, your reactions faster. And then, one morning, he's gone. No sign, no scent trail, no explanation. You wait, just in case, but after a while, you move on. Not long after, as you crest a sunlit hill, you smell something sharp and warm, like dry grass and heat after a lightning strike. You follow it to a patch of scorched earth near a cluster of rocks, and that's where you find another sibling. This one's different again. Her fur is a deep orange, her mane thick and hot to the touch, radiating warmth even from a distance. She doesn't hide like Leafeon did. She lounges in the open, eyes half closed, daring the world to challenge her. She's a beautiful Flareon. She notices you, gives a half nod, and then stretches lazily before swiping at a passing Nincada with a flash of heat. You flinch as the air ripples around her paw. You stay nearby, watching from the shade. She never offers to teach you, but she doesn't chase you off either. You observe how she conserves energy, how she waits for the right moment, and how every movement is explosive, fast, and final. You try to mimic, but the timing is harder than it looks. She's gone after only a couple of days, not in silence like the others, just not there when you wake up. The ground is still warm where she slept. You keep going. Eventually, you reach a slow-moving river. At first, you think it's a fish darting beneath the surface, but then a sleek head breaks the water, and you recognize her, another sibling. She's a Vaporeon now. She doesn't greet you, only watches for a moment before gliding back beneath the surface. You step into the shallows and follow. Over the next few days, she shows you how to move with the current, how to float without splashing, how to stay calm even when submerged. You struggle at first, your fur gets heavy when wet, your limbs fight the water, but with time, you begin to move like she does. Slowly, quietly, purposefully. You're not built for it, not like she is, but you learn, and for a while, the water brings you peace. But something inside you still doesn't settle. You're grateful for the lessons, for the patience, for the time, but every step you take, every new skill you learn, feels like you're stepping further away from who you're supposed to be. And then one night, just as you're settling by the river's edge, you see something in the distance, barely more than a shimmer. 2 yellow rings, glowing faintly between the trees. They flicker, then vanish. You stare at the spot long after they disappear. It wasn't just light, it felt like recognition, like something quietly calling your name without sound. You don't follow yet. Instead, you stay where you are and listen to the quiet. The river flows steady beside you, but it's the darkness that holds your attention, not because it's frightening, but because it isn't. You've never feared the dark, not really. You've moved through it every night. You've learnt to hear more, to see more, to be more in the silence. Your siblings had their signs. The sun called Espeon, the leaves pulled Leafeon toward the forest, the water embraced Vaporeon like one of its own, but you always stayed close to the shadows. You never understood why until now. The wind shifts, the moon pushes through the clouds above, bathing the world in silver. You close your eyes and breathe in. You don't force the change, you don't run toward it, you simply let it happen. Your heartbeat slows as your fur tingles. Light hums beneath your skin, not bright like lightning, not hot like fire, but deep and low and steady. A glow builds gently at your sides, at your forehead, at the tip of your tail. You feel more powerful, but most importantly, you feel at home. When you open your eyes again, the forest hasn't moved, but everything has changed. You look down, and the reflection in the water looks back with calm red eyes, framed by soft black fur and quiet golden rings pulsing like breath. You are not Eevee anymore. You are Umbreon. That's when you realize the night did not change you. You became the night. For a moment, you just breathe. The wind moves gently through the trees, bringing the scent, a faint but unmistakable musky scent that you remember, Mighty Yenna. You turn and see it showing its teeth, trying to impress you, but this time, there's no fear, just slow and steady golden rings glowing in the dark, like quiet warnings. He growls low and circles wide, confused, understanding you might not be such an easy prey. He lunges, the darkness pulses from you and the Mighty Yenna stumbles mid-charge. The Mighty Yenna loses balance and hits his face hard on the cold ground. Confronted with unexpected resistance, he panics and runs away. You're Umbreon now. The night is yours, and you finally know what that means.